Hey everybody, Retro Geek Dad here, back with another toy review. This time we are looking at the He-Man and Skeletor re-release figures with the vintage style heads. Now these are similar to all the He-Man and the Skeletor that have been released pretty much with every wave so far, with the exception of these are packaged with the vintage style head as opposed to the newer head that they had made with the line. These were introduced in Wave 5. I had picked these up through Walmart.com, and they average about the same price as the regular retail. But I wanted to get these to kind of show off the difference between the vintage style head, the new figures, and the original head from like Wave 1 and 2. But we're going to open these up, check them out, do a side-by-side comparison, and see how it goes. Okay, so we're going to and get started with He-Man. So, like I said, these are the re-releases with the vintage style head. And the comic is the Sucker Punch comic, which was the Wave 5 mini comic. They do come with the full power sword as opposed to the half power sword that the other ones came with. But let's go ahead and show the package. And it has the same artwork from the the first He-Man figure that was released. On the back we have the Series 5 lineup, sword and the twist into positions. We have the UPC code. Now I'm not sure if this UPC code is the same UPC code as the original He-Man. I would imagine it's not. I would imagine it's a UPC code unique for this particular figure. Take a look at Skeletor. So, Lord of Destruction. Now his face is different now. The original, the first release Skeletor that we had, his mouth was open. This one he's got kind of like a little smirk, and his eyes are more of a circle. The red part of his eyes is more of a circle, whereas the original was kind of like the whole eye socket was red. And the mini comic is Sucker Punch, the Wave 5. He also should have the full power sword for his figure. Artwork on the back is the same, the regular Skeletor artwork. Havoc staff and twist and turns. Wave 5 lineup and Skeletor's UPC code. So go ahead and we're going to open these up, and we're going to do kind of a review comparison with the originals. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started with He-Man. So open him up. Camera down, there we go. Okay, so yeah, the mini comic is the Sucker Punch, and this was the Wave 5 mini comic with Fisto and Faker and all the other characters. And it's just the take apart instructions, which parts are removable. So, go ahead and we'll start with the weapons. Check those out. Know that the sword, the power sword, well, that's interesting. So coming out of the package, they're kind of like that. It's kind of a neat way to package them so that, you know, things don't get bent up. So, I have a power sword, our axe, and our shield. So I want to do a comparison with the weapons real quick. So here are the new weapons, and these are the Series 1 weapons. So it looks like the shields are the same. Yeah. Of course, this one's a little banged up where they had the weapons kind of meshed in there. Shouldn't be too much of a problem though. Okay, and then we'll look at the axe. So yeah, the axe is pretty much identical. It's just a little ding right there. So, and then here's what I like. So the Series 1s, they had the half power sword where you could connect it to Skeletors. I thought it was a little, you know, kind of a womp womp kind of thing, you know. But with the new ones, we have the full power sword. You know, that's cool. Now, see, the way I would have done it is I would have packaged, you know, both swords. You know, had the half power sword and the full power sword. But it would have been more like a deluxe He-Man with, you know, the two swords, and then I would have, you know, put both heads in the vintage style and the, you know, the new head for the series. We'll take a quick look. So he's got a few rubber bands. Okay, so there we go. Should be all of them out. So we have basically the same He-Man. Colors are the same. You know, there's no difference on the belts or buckles. It's just identical with the exception of the head. So here is the Series 1 head. I know a lot of people didn't like it because they kind of reimagined it. And then here's the vintage style head. So that's the one that I'm used to with the vintage style toys. So it's nice that they kind of updated that. I guess they just had too much backlash or, you know, negative input with this one. But I like how they did re-release it. You know, for those who weren't able to get, you know, He-Man or Skeletor in the first waves, yeah, it's another option. But there's that crooked hand. On the majority of these figures, this middle finger is always kind of crooked to the pointer finger. I'm not sure why that is. It's real interesting though. I've seen it on a majority of these Origins figures. But, you know, as always, the articulation, you know, the head comes off, arms comes off, waist, and the boots down here at the bottom. You know, all of this comes apart so you can customize and make your own, you know, Masters of the Universe figure. So I really like that they can do that. So articulation is the same, you know, ball joint and the shoulder, kind of a rocker thing. Elbows, wrists, you know, they rock back and forth and turn. Waist twists, ball joint in the legs, knees, ankle. They got just a little bit of rock to them. But it's your standard articulation for the Origins figures. You can put the sword in, you know, and then you can do the shield, which with my son, we'd gone about, if you take the shield And the handle part, you can slide the sword in and it will hold the sword and the shield. And then you can have his axe. That way if he's like on Battle Cat or something, you know, he's got all of his weapons with him. So there's that. Let's check out this new power sword though. With it, you know, being the thicker handle, you know, he'll be able to hold it much better. You know, there is no need for that, for this finger loop here. And of course his shield, goes in there. I always had a kind of a problem with these shields. You know, they don't want to stay real good. And they kind of fall off. You know, it's supposed to kind of click around his bracer. Kind of like that. There we go. Just takes a little finagling. There is He-Man. Pretty cool. I like the vintage style head over the new head. So there is He-Man. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at Skeletor. So pop him open. Yep, of course mine came with a ripped card. Of course it doesn't matter, I'll open it anyway. Have the same comic as Sucker Punch. And we have band here. Weapons are taped. And the band at his feet. We'll take a look at the weapons real quick. Okay, so he has his Havoc staff and the purple power sword. His power sword is a whole power sword, as opposed to Wave 1. Wave 1, of course, was the other half of the He-Man power sword where they could connect. And Havoc staffs, they're identical, so there's no difference there. Trying to see if maybe the color's a bit different, but I don't think so. I think they're the same. Skeletor. Rubber bands are off. Okay, so here we have Skeletor. I don't understand the smirking skull. I don't understand that. Now I will say it's a vast improvement over the singing Skeletor, where his mouth is open. But as you can see with the eyes, this one has, you know, the little red dots, whereas this one, the whole eyes are red. This one is missing. I mean, it's got a little bit of green kind of up underneath the hood there, but whereas this one has kind of a green outline around it, this one doesn't. They kind of look like they're brothers, like they're related. Like, this is the oldest and he just got away with something, and this is the youngest and he's like, I just saw you and I told mom and you still didn't get in trouble. Or it could be reversed. Maybe this is the oldest and this is the youngest. Yeah, like this one did something, you know, got the last ice cream cone or something, I don't know, And this one went and told Mom. And Mom was like, no, he didn't do anything because he's an angel. And this one's like, are you serious? That's what that looks like. So yeah. I guess that's what... I don't even know what Mattel was trying to do. Anyway, let's look at the figure of the new one. Same articulation as all of the other Origins figures. You know, the head pops off a little tighter, but the head pops off. A little more difficult to get that one on, but same articulation. You know, the standard Origins articulation. The armor does come off. It's the same as the first figure. Basically the exact same figure, just the different head, you know. So, I mean, there's really not too much to say about these figures other than the power swords are the bigger power swords, and then the heads are the full heads. But there's that figure. That one's not as bad. That finger's not leaning as bad. But yeah, these figures, I mean, there's really not much to say, like I said, other than, the heads are different and it comes with the full power sword. It's cool because if you didn't get the He-man and Skeletor before, you can get them with the new heads and the full power swords. Although with the new figures, you are missing out on, the power swords connected, so that it could unlock Castle Grayskull's front door. But, at the same time, I understand people wanted the full power sword. So, but another quick video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about with these, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you and see you again soon.